Forever.
Who's he playing for right now? I mean, like, is he playing college?
Alright, why don't we fade the music out after this one?
Like now?
Yeah. You want to run the first line? Just pause out on that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Athletic Community Field for tonight's The League for Clubs matchup between Union, Kansas City, and your Tulsa Athletic. Um,
6, 7, 14, 11.
well, hang on. I don't know if those are starters.
Starters.
No. That fucking kid won't shut up. Check, 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 check. Can I? How are my levels? How are my levels?
You could go up a little more. Try it one more time.
Check, 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 check.
Start recording right here. What? See this or stop? I have no idea. I have no idea what you're saying. I'm just making sure it's on YouTube. Like it's ready to go on YouTube.
Good evening and welcome to Tulsa Athletic Field at Hicks Park Stadium. I'm your host, Sonny D'Alessandro. I'll be flying solo this evening. Go over the starters for Union Kansas City real quick. Number 9, Charlie Dusky in goal. Number 3, Garrison Hill. Number 13, Noah Bynum. Number 2, Miles Crosser. Number 5, Will Cooley. In the midfield, got number 12, Braden Yowes. Number 6, Caden Hones. Number 4, Vincent Croney. And up top, number 11, Jack Lucas. Number 8, Carson Wright. For Tulsa Athletic in goal, number 1, Bryson Reed.
Tonight's starting lineup for Union KC. Number 99 in goal.
Number 4, Gustavo Vargas.
Number 11,
Number 10,
Jack
Ruben Torres.
Lucas.
Number 14,
Number
Rafa
3,
Zaldivar.
Hill. Number 12, Braden
Number
Yowes.
5,
Number 6,
Eric Diaz.
Hayden
Number
Holmes.
9,
Number 13, Noah
the goal
Bynum.
scorer.
Number 2, Miles Crosser. Number 7, Beck Rettenmeyer. Number 5, Will Cooley. Number 8, Carson Wright. And number 4, Vincent Roney.
So we've got number 3, Cash Dunkel. Number 16, Ebenezer Bote.
And for your starting lineup for the Tulsa Athletic, in goal, number 1, Bryson Reed.
Union Kansas City coming off their
At
first victory of the
defense,
year.
number 2,
An
Aiden
important one if you're a
Hustry.
Tulsa Athletic fan.
At defense, number 4,
2 late
Gustavo
goals, seeing them
Vargas.
go clear of FC
At
Wichita,
midfield,
3-2.
number 5, Eric Diaz. At midfield, number 11,
Meanwhile, on the other end,
Wayne.
Tulsa Athletic kind of going the other direction,
At
getting
forward,
beat
number 9, David
in Oklahoma City. Always a
Vlade.
difficult place to play.
At midfield, number 10, Ruben Torres. At midfield, number 14, Rafa Zaldivar.
Probably
At
hear that over
midfield,
the
number 3,
the intercom.
Dunkel.
That's the legendary
And
cue.
at defense, number 18, Ebenezer
Back on the mic.
Bowie.
For the first time since, geez, 2013, 2014 maybe? Good to have him back.
Athletic fans, are you ready?
Looks like we're just about to be underway. A lot to play for tonight. Not if you're Union Kansas City, you know, just trying to get their reps in as they mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Tulsa Athletic currently sits second, but the first and the third place teams, Oklahoma City on 15 points, FC Wichita on 11 points, squaring off tonight in Wichita. So always a difficult place to play. Tulsa did not fare too well there this year, getting beat 4-2. But Oklahoma City currently on the best run of form of any club in the Mid-American Conference, and looking to sort of theirs to lose in terms of hosting throughout the playoffs. Hang on, my grandmother's texting me. She said, thanks, fingers crossed for a win. Good luck, unicorn emoji, clover emoji. Thank you, Grandma. Quick shout out, we've got a fan in the North Woods of Wisconsin, Bill Baitzer. He's giving a hell of a fight to cancer right now, so keeping a good thought with Bill in the North Woods. Happy to have you watching. Hopefully the boys will bring home 3 points for you. Good friend of my father's. Offensive and defensive linemen together in the North Woods of Wisconsin for the Hayward Hurricanes. Never did understand the Hurricanes. Hayward, not known for hurricanes. Blizzard, perhaps. Yeah, the Northern Pike or the Muskellunge would have been 2 good nicknames. On the PA to my right, like I mentioned, Q spent a little time in the North Woods playing junior hockey. The glorious flow that was underneath the helmet back then, I'm afraid, has been left in the olden times. Refs conferring. Teams are in.
All right, athletic fans, let them hear you. Here we go.
It'll be important for Tulsa to start fast this evening. They've done a pretty good job of it thus far in their last 2 home games here at Hicks. Good pressure scheme from Carrasco. I've seen them finding the ball in difficult places. So if we got Cash Dunkel playing right back with Aiden Ussery, who I may have missed the name in when I was announcing, along with Hagen Weish, who's been stellar for the club this year in the center of the park. And we're underway with the longest whistle ever to start a game. Cash Dunkel sees the kickoff roll into touch. A little bit of light pressure there from Jack Lucas. Reed short to Bote. Bote to Vargas. Kansas City traveling a little bit of a lighter squad today, Union is, so I would be surprised to see a high pressure scheme. Here is Bote. Finding Ussery. It's a great little knock here. I think they're going to say Pilati had just strayed offside. Close one. The supporters group from 130 yards away had a different opinion. Looking for Lucas again. Maybe liking that Lucas-Dunkel matchup early on. Reed puts the ball into Vargas. Vargas, plenty of time. Vargas breaks the line, finding RT. Torres. Ball collected by Charlie Dusk. Dusk or Dusky, I apologize if I'm wrong one way or the other. Sprays the ball out wide. Looking for Carson Wright. Good tackle there from the number 2, Miles Crosser. Aiden Ussery. What a ball here from Weish. And 1-0. David Pilati, great ball in from Weish. David Pilati, his 6th goal of the season. A really delicate little ball over the top by Weish. Tough little touch, stinks it over the top. Pilati, great first touch. Beats Dusky, 1-0 Tulsa. Great start.
Athletic goal
3rd minute.
scored by number 9, David Pilati. His 6th of the season and assisted by number 11, Hagen Weish.
Aaron Quinton does not mess around, folks, so well-announced goal and assist. Lucas winning the ball as it just careens off of Cash Dunkel's head there. Looking for a big throw here. KB Harris, one of the greatest aerial players maybe ever in this area. Here's Weish. Oh, it's a great knock from Diaz, finding KB Harris, who's got time. Pilati sort of waiting at the back post. Tries to pick him out. Well intercepted. Dunkel intercepts, but not quite able to keep it. The ball sprayed white here for Crosser. Or sorry, Carson Wright. Caden Hones, we would have loved to have seen him score from 40 yards, because to beat Bryson Reed from that range is, I say it all the time here, might not be a fan of it on the scoreboard, but you're going to get a treat of a goal from that range. Vargas looking for Harris. Pilati's got a gamble there as Harris called for the ball, but sort of got caught standing still. Dusky, good diagonal ball for Carson Wright. Flicked on. Here's Bote. Safely finds Reed. Reed has Vargas and some other options. Maybe Cash Dunkel here. Yep, drops a little ball in for Dunkel. A little overhit. Here's Dunkel. Does well to find Harris. Looked like probably ball first. This will be Harris. Dunkel. Reed. Reed with a diagonal ball looking for Diaz. Diaz flicks it on looking for Pilati. Hagen Weish competing. Weish breaking lines, finding Zaldivar. Here's Torres. Harris opens his hips, just curls it wide. Tulsa looking good on the break early. They've been somewhat inefficient with that final ball, so to see Weish get it right and then a good chance created there is something definitely you're wanting to see if you're Coach Carrasco. Crosser puts it into Dusky. Here's Crosser again. Ebenezer Botti does well to win a goal kick. Here's Reed in front of the flowing unicorn flag. Can't miss that. Never short on character. I was told earlier this week that they should start playing Pink Pony Club more here, and I can't say I disagree with that. Really good ball from Weish there to find Diaz, or sorry, find Ussery. Here's Ussery, cutting inside. It's actually a natural good ball here for Harris. Ussery's a right back, but he's been asked to play left back the whole season. Here is Harris, flashing ball across. Would have liked to seen a touch there from Pilati. Pilati, a great season, scored 6 goals, but he's also scored them in 6 games. So if you're Carrasco, I think you would like to see that appetite continue, to get that second goal, that third goal, and really get the confidence and the form flowing. But you can't argue with 6 goals in 7 games from the Italian-Romanian. Be a Tulsa throw here. Might have been a little foul there for me. Tough to tell. You like Weish closing down there, though. Botti finding Vargas. Here's Diaz. This could be a chance here. Diaz left foot. Goes power. Flashes just wide. Good stuff there from Pilati. Told my volume's too low. I don't get told that very often. It's a self-admitted annoying person. Usually I'm told to turn it down. So to be offside there. Just wide there. Dangerous chance for Jack Lucas. Here's Aiden Ussery. Good football here. Here's Torres. Well hit, big block there from number 5, Will Cooley. As my absent today colleague, Toby Moore, would say, that'll leave a mark. With his lovely wife, Catherine, in Cincinnati this weekend, taking some well-deserved time off. The Queen City, I'm told. Great ball here, unlucky. Charlie Dusky looking to go early. Nothing on though. Goes into touch. Sorry, out for a throw in. Put back in. This fine Ebenezer Bote. Bote finding Zaldivar. Taking a more central row this evening, like a little bit of an 8 roll. Ball easily finds Harris. Here's Harris, still on the ball. Finding Essery. Good stuff from Pilati and Essery. Finding Diaz, just not quite able to corral it. Vargas, showing that even center backs can have a little bit of skill. Here's Dunkel. Keeping the ball. Vargas likes a diagonal ball, and this is a good one. Looking first time for Pilati there. For me, I'd like to have seen him take it down. He's dangerous with the ball down, but he's so good in the air that it's hard to turn down a header. It's like me with a donut. Or a beer. It's the weekend. Quick shout out to my family watching in Italy. Ciao, grazie mille. Well intercepted there. It's Lucas. Bote finding Dunkel. Dunkel with a good pass for Zaldivar. Gets the ball wide for Harris. Here's Harris, just with Hones to beat. I said Hones, I meant Will Cooley there. Sorry, still getting used to this a little bit. Got our lineups a little bit late. Vargas, always commanding in the air. Zaldivar. Not many options, so he chooses to go past the player. Look to curl it around the backside there. I believe that ball would have been on for Pilati as well. Here's Vargas. Vargas actually, though a center back, known to score some goals for Tulsa Athletic, and scored the winner the first time these two teams met in Kansas City in injury time to take all 3 points. Massive goal, all those in a very tight conference, all those points add up. Here is Bote. The old touch tackle, finding Eric Diaz here. Diaz, a tricky player. Great ball across. Here's Pilati. Touch just lets him down. Great pick out from Diaz there. Tidy work. Kind of beat the guy, kind of didn't beat the guy, then kind of beat him, and then kind of put a perfect cross in. Pilati not quite able to get the ball down. Ball put in from Torres. Great save by Charlie Dusky. KB Harris wasn't able to get the full amount of power on it. I say save. I may have just gone wide. I thought Dusky got tips to it. Apparently not. Good ball in from Torres. Well met, well risen, and well met from KB Harris. Here's Bote. Zaldivar. Reisenreed. Zaldivar again. Tough battle there between Bynum and Eric Diaz. Diaz putting the ball over. Not a bad look, but Pilati just not outside. Diaz might have been able to see that better than him as well. Union Kansas City seems comfortable going Route 1 early. They haven't had much success with it. There's Botti. Just a really bad place to mess with the ball. This will find Torres. This is a great. That was a little bit closer for me. Pilati didn't throw as a Romanian that immigrated to Italy. There was enough Italian in him that had he been onside, he would have definitely thrown his hands up and the hand gestures would have been flying. So the fact that we didn't see any means probably just straight a half yard off. There's a ball you never want. Torres fouls Garrison Hill there. Ruben Torres literally kind of shoots the ball at his own goal there. Bryson Reed on the ball as we enter the, well, I can't see the scoreboard there. I'm going to guess probably about the 19th minute or so. Good turn there from Eric Diaz. Finding Pilati. Good ball across. It's a good diagonal ball. Yeah, I think there was contact outside the box. Forward does well to play through it there. Ussery a little too nonchalant, allowing that diagonal to get across. Here's Weish. That's a great ball. A small amount of contact. I think the referee kind of in a small contract to maybe make there be a little makeup call. Good ball through there for Jack Lucas. Not quite able to corral it. Ball rolled out to Vargas. Here's Vargas. He's got Reed. Vargas again. Sort of a little bit of a lazy nothing ball there. Botti. Terrible ball. Weish does well here, finding Diaz quickly. That was very, very close. Very, very close. I'd have to look at that again. May have just been on the other side of the half line. Sorry for our paused clock on the live stream. If your money was on technical difficulties tonight, it's probably the safe bet. We had some legends in the booth, but some stand-ins at that, myself included. Speaking of legends, there's a lot of them in the world, and Scott Adams is also here. Scott, you want to jump on the mic? Foul there on number 2, yellow card for Miles Crosser, failing Hagen Weish. Yeah, put them on and we'll check your levels.
Yellow card to Union KC number
Hello,
2,
hello.
Miles Crosser.
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Give us another little level check there, Scott.
Hello, hello, hello.
There you go. All right, Scott Adams on the mic. Scott, 2 years at the club, 1 year at the club.
I think I actually had 3 seasons total. Like I had about half a season.
18, 19?
Man, 18, 19, and then a little bit in 21, I want to say.
Okay, yep,
Yeah,
that sounds right. That sounds right. Pleasure to have you in the booth.
it's a pleasure to be back at All Hicks Park. It's been a minute. It's funny seeing this all come full circle. I met guys like Bryson Reed, Gustavo,
Sure.
guys like that whenever they were kind of the young guys on the team.
Yeah, now they're the captains and we're retiring numbers and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
So yeah, I hear you. Here's Boti. Vargas. A little bit shaky out of the back. Bryson Reed looking for Dunkel, not able to find him. Coach Carrasco will want that cleaned up a little bit. Scott, what were your thoughts in the first half of the first half?
The Athletics look good. I think they're creating a lot of chances. They just have to put them away. Obviously, 1-0 is not a safe lead, and they can't get complacent with that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Kansas City kind of on the road playing pretty direct, kind of trying to settle themselves into the match. So the early goal helps that uneasy feeling continue a little bit. But you'd like to see Tulsa kind of pile on a goal.
And I honestly think like the way that I don't know a lot about the league, but just from what I can tell right now, I think 1-0 is. I think Kansas City would be okay with that right now, and that they think they obviously have some size and they have some athleticism. So
here's Harris trying to slot through Pilati. Goalkeeper does well, just kind of clearing his lines there. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of parity in the conference. So, you know, we were fortunate to beat Wichita 3-0 here, but everything else has been a two or one goal game. So it's what you like to see during the summer. I mean,
yeah, I believe a lot of competitiveness. They are organized defensively, I think, and I think that if they can just keep it to 1-0, they're going to be happy with that because get late in the game, they might be able to sneak a
you
point in the road.
You stretch it. I mean, that's exactly. I didn't see the entirety of the match on Wednesday, but they played Wichita and we're down 2-1 in the. It's a good flick on there.
Yeah.
We're down 2-1 in the 88th minute and grabbed 2 goals. Here's Reed on his left foot. Clips it in, looking for Diaz. Good header there from number 6, Caden Hones. This will be Torres again. Torres stays up through the contact. Good little ball here, looking for Dunkel. It's a good ball for Zaldivar on the break here. He's got Diaz on the far post as well. Here's Harris. Great ball through.
Offside, yeah. Yeah, he looked offside, but that was a good passage of play from the Athletics.
Yeah, a good little spell there. I think if you're Zaldivar, you want that released a little bit sooner.
Mm-hmm. KB was always one of the guys who I wish played for the Athletics while I was there.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
never really got to play with him. I knew the guy since I was 5 years old. We went to TU and ORU soccer camps together, and somehow, some way, we're never teammates.
he's
never.
just kind of one of those Tulsa legends too. He plays in
Yes.
every game, every night,
Yes.
everywhere.
Yeah, you see him on weeknights at Soccer City. You see him on the weekends, and
Yeah, it's like
Weekend leagues.
this is an over 60 co-ed game, and he's grabbing
he's
grabbing
somehow
a
there.
half hour. Here's
Yeah.
Ussery.
And I think his game travels better than almost any player that's ever come out of Tulsa. I think you could toss him in any sort of game, any position.
Well, we've seen him be our leading goal scorer in the UPSL and one of the leading goal scorers in the country. And then we've seen him literally
Pitch a clean
mark a
sheet.
guy with 20 caps for Mexico out of the match in the U.S. Open Cup against Sporting Kansas City.
Absolutely.
Here's Ussery. Get him forward. It's a good ball here for Diaz. Diaz, tricky. That is a foul. That's going to be a
That's gonna
penalty.
pen.
Yeah, and I mean, there was no argument there from Miles Grosser. He kind of stuck the leg in. Eric Diaz, very, very quick, very tricky on the ball. Perfect spot, isolates him.
Yeah. I've never seen Diaz play, but from what I can tell, he's very shifty, very agile.
Yeah, he played at one of the largest clubs in Costa Rica, Saprissa.
Okay, yeah, yep.
Massive club. Looks like we're going to have RT Torres on the ball here. Yeah, he's a Northwest Arkansas guy.
Okay.
Played at JBU.
Yep.
Fantastic player.
Yeah,
Just, you know, trying to raise the level, add in a quality guy when you can.
absolutely. Sonny had to step away, but Ruben Torres, also known as RT, is ready to step up to this penalty.
Here is Torres. Yeah, it's not a good penalty.
No, got to put it on target.
Yeah. Yep, ball's in play. Sometimes there's a little lull after a missed penalty too. You got to be careful if you're Tulsa. You know, it's you know, the momentum can absolutely shift that other direction
Yes,
too.
absolutely. It's easy to get down on yourself. You have to realize you're still up 1-0. There's a lot of game to play. RT's going to get another chance.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, and you can even hear Ruben Carrasco on the sidelines. He's telling him next one. That's all. That
Yeah,
matters.
and that's the only positive solution that there is you know, what can we do moving forward? You know,
Absolutely.
go get us one back, string Pilati through, grab a goal yourself. But yeah, with Luis Flores out on a red card, here's Pilati winning a header.
I was wondering. I'd heard a lot about Flores and didn't get to see him tonight, so I was wondering where he was. Makes sense, though. Can't be getting red cards.
Well, it was a second yellow
Okay.
against Oklahoma City on Wednesday night with a referee who gave a second yellow to Vargas in the Open Cup against FC Tulsa. I'm not saying
so
nothing.
he's got a history. I always had a few refs back in my playing days that I felt like had it out for me.
Here's Ussery getting forward. Definitely interchangeable with Diaz, both of them versatile players.
Okay. There it
Harris,
is.
2-0. Just kind of gets on the end of it.
On cue, KB Harris.
You know, and Scott, that's kind of one of the things, too. Tulsa, we haven't scored enough of those. I don't want to call it an ugly goal because a goal is a goal, but, you know, he fights through a little bit of a deflection. He just kind of
Absolutely.
first to the dance there,
Yeah.
gets a little toe poke, and
Looked like both of them hit at the same time.
2-0.
A goal's a
And-
goal, like you said, though.
Yeah, great recognition there from Ussery, the left back, getting forward. Diaz holds his spot. He goes ahead and attacks. I mean, he's a right back. He's a right-footed player, so he's getting
Really?
up there, finds enough to, you know, get a nice little, just put a ball into a dangerous place
Exactly.
sometimes.
That's all you got to do.
Athletic goal scored by number 17, KB Harris.
And something I learned from my playing days is that
Assisted by number 2,
1 second.
Aiden Ussery.
And Carrasco's got to be really pleased with that. Anytime your outside backs are getting forward and contributing
Yes,
offensively, it just makes a
absolutely.
team so much harder to deal with.
and it takes a little bit of the pressure off the forwards to feel like they have to contribute to all the goals and all the assists, especially whenever they
That's
can
right.
trust a guy in the attack.
That's right. It's just a more dynamic look.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, so
Absolutely, but it goes back to to what you just said about just putting the ball in a dangerous area. A lot of times, whenever you know a guy on the wing is going to put a ball in the dangerous area as a striker, you just start making the runs into those dangerous spots. You see the space in the box, and you just go for it because you trust that player. So the more crosses they put in like that, I mean, you're going to see every guy getting in the box from there.
well, and we've sung KB Harris's praises, but in terms of putting a generic ball in a box and letting a player attack it, like there's really not a better player in
No.
the state of Oklahoma than KB Harris.
He is a magnet, and it doesn't make sense. I've never
He
seen
is.
a guy below 5'9" win so many headers in my life.
Yeah. Good stuff from Diaz, finding Weish. Cash Dunkel with space here. Speaking of outside backs getting forward, looking for Harris. Here is Harris again. Pull back. Here's Harris
There it is
again.
again. Can't say his name enough. KB Harris.
Yeah, good stuff. Kind of started with Weish there, finding Dunkel getting forward. Dunkel, really good ball there to Harris.
Third
Absolutely.
Goal, his second of the night. Number 17, KB Harris.
You know, if you wanted to be like ultra critical, you could say that maybe what Harris was trying to look to do in the first one was a little too cute. You know, it's
Yeah.
like find someone's feet just to tap the ball in. You know, he went for a more difficult
Absolutely.
ball, but he atoned for it when there was a scrap to be cleaned up. He did so quite quickly. And
It's just
Tulsa
what we
up to
just said. Ball's bouncing around the box, and who's the guy on the end of it?
that's who you want. He's a magnet.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Might be onto a new nickname there.
Right?
Great pressure from Weish there. That's going to be Bryson Reed's.
And this is the way you want to finish the half after with the Athletics.
100%. 100%. Kansas City looked like this was a possibility. You know,
Yes,
they traveled at kind of
absolutely.
a little bit of a smaller roster today, which is
Mhm.
difficult. You know, it rained 4 inches here today.
Oh, I drove through it this morning.
You know, so if you'd have woke up today at 8 or 9 in the morning and said, yeah, there's going to be a soccer game today, you'd have been like, there's no way. So everyone was out here working hard. Here's Ussery. Trying his luck. Shot blocked by Garrison Hill. It's going to just go out for a throw-in.
Yeah, I remember whenever I was playing my first season with the Athletics, our game against FC Wichita. The most rain I've ever played on in my life. I don't know if you remember that game. Sonny.
Oh, well, there's a famous one against, good stuff from Dunkel there. There's a famous one against Ozark when literally the Arkansas
might
River
have
had
been.
flooded onto Veterans Park, and
Was it
Dr. Kern and myself were
squeegee in the field?
squeeging
That,
the field.
Okay, it was the Ozark.
Yeah,
For
it
some
was
reason, I thought it
Ozark.
was FC Wichita. Ozark. Okay.
Well, it rained quite a bit in the Ozark game as well.
I
I'm sorry,
believe-
in the FC Wichita game as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, it was just one of those rainy seasons, and
Oh yeah. I mean, most rain I've seen since this year was that year.
Mhm. Well, when people look at me like, oh, you own a soccer team, well, how glamorous. I like to show them pictures of today when I've got a horrible farmer's tan, dirt up to my elbows and knees. I've been wearing, like, you know, wellies all day long.
I believe it. Yeah, the club has come a long way. I mean, just from the first year that you guys had Hicks, I mean, back to Veterans Park, back to
Thank you. Yeah, and you know, we're going to continue on that trajectory. We just got a new scoreboard that's rested up over there, so a big,
Mhm.
massive scoreboard that that just came in. So you know, we're going to continue to elevate things
yeah.
one piece, one day at a time.
Yeah. And, I mean, the part I've always said about the Athletics is my favorite part is just the family atmosphere. I mean,
Thank you.
I haven't been to a game in probably 2 years, but I come back and the first thing that happens is I get greeted at the ticket stand.
Well, sure.
I'm ready to pay for a ticket. You know, I don't expect anything, and the ladies are like, "You used to play here."
Oh yeah,
didn't
that's
you?"
my mom.
Okay.
So yeah.
And she recognized me and she said, "You know what? You just go right on in." And I was like, "Yep." I mean, things just haven't changed. You know.
That's why the club is in perpetual debt, but we would have it no other way. Good tackle there, working back, Pilati. Looks like he's sort of switched out with RT Torres. I always say RT Torres. It seems redundant because I'm almost sure that the T is Torres, but
It is.
Well taken there from Pilati. Weish finding Vargas. David Pilati, the striker, playing a little bit of holding midfielder, splitting the center backs. Good turn from Zaldivar, finding Harris again, back to Zaldivar. Good first touch from Welsh. That's the ball back into play. Good reffing. I always like when it doesn't have to be on the exact spot. Let's just get the ball back into play.
Yeah, that's something I kind of learned. That a lot of refs, the good refs seem like they're just the best game managers.
That's it. That's it. It's basically you're managing relationships and common sense.
Exactly.
If you can do that, it's going to be
all the players at this level know the rules, and obviously there's that gray area of soccer with what's a foul and what's not a foul. And as long as the ref's consistent and they let the boys play, those are my favorite refs.
Yep.
Those are my favorite refs to watch.
Torres fouling Bynum there. Good little ball here. It's going to find Harris. He's going to be first to this as well. Is it a hat trick? Just wide. Scott, I almost would have liked to see the dink for Diaz, who was on the backside of his man there. But when you're on a hat trick and you're finding the back of the net, keep finding the back of the net.
When you're confident and you're scoring goals, nobody can say anything to you if you're shooting.
Yeah, when you're scoring goals, tunnel vision is appreciated.
Exactly, exactly. As a teammate, you don't care how the ball goes in the goal. You want to win every game. If that guy's winning you games, you let him shoot. One of the guys.
Yeah,
on
I
the
like that
bench-
there from Carson, right? Just kind of fought through a couple tackles. Probably good. I'm old school, so there's too many times when they just throw their hand up and stop playing. But
Absolutely.
my man fights through 2-3 tackles there, and looking to penetrate, maybe find an angle to, a goal before half, and Union Kansas City is right back in this game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously 2-0 they say is the most dangerous lead, but 3-0, if a team can get momentum with 45 minutes to go, I mean, 45 minutes is a long time in soccer.
For sure. This will be Bo T. Getting it wide for Harris. Gonna go into. Bryson Reed will claim this. Here's Harris. He's going to be in, I thought maybe one-on-one. He's got Pilati on the back post. Torres again. First touch lets him down. Pilati changing the angle.
Who scored the first goal? I was getting a hamburger whenever that happened.
First goal was scored by David Pilati. Through ball from Hagen Weish. Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know David. I've never actually seen him play till just now, but he's really impressed me. He's very calm and composed as a striker. Just what you want. Big, strong guy, fast.
Yeah, I mean,
hurt you in a lot of ways from what it seems
he has
like.
credentials, too. He was a youth team player at Torino in Italy.
Okay.
And had 12 caps for the Romanian under-19 national team. So
I
mean,
believe it.
that's not a small national team. There's
It's not.
definite quality there.
I believe it, and just in 40 minutes of watching this game, I can definitely see he's very composed, and that just fills you with confidence as a defender playing the ball forward. A lot of times, whenever you get a guy like that, you just know you have to put it in a little area.
That's
and
right.
That he's gonna get it. He's gonna hold on to it, and building out of the back, it just makes it 10 times easier as a defender and as a deep line midfielder. Makes the right decision a lot, and right as I say that, commentator curse.
Yeah,
That's the
there's
first time.
the heavy touch, right?
Yeah, there. First time commentating, first time commentator curse.
Bryson Reed inviting a little bit of pressure on there, coming from number 7, Beck Rettenmeyer. I've been getting some texts from the Union Kansas City coaching staff at home watching.
Really?
Concerning the quality of the field.
Listen, this field.
4.5 inches of rain is a lot of rain, gents. A lot of rain.
I was out in the field for a second. It is looking pretty nice. And I was a very picky player about fields.
Well, we haven't had much issue passing through them so far either, so. There's a good ball. Tries his luck, probably the field.
Yeah, a little bit bobble.
No, a good group, the Union Kansas City guys. They've had a good season. They've been competitive. They've been in every match. Just got their first win on Wednesday against FC Wichita, 3-2. I think they'll be a good club for many years moving forward. They've got a women's team, too, in the WPSL.
Okay.
I think it's an important piece for with these youth academies to have an extension, to have a way for your younger players to, if you're a top 17-year-old player, if you're getting to train with guys already in college, like that expedites the learning curve more than people think.
Absolutely.
Just Dunkel finding Harris.
Absolutely. Just going against grown men, I think that, just in my time in college, whenever we get a senior in high school, I remember just off the top of my head, Luke Jeffis
Yep.
and Jack Bratcher,
Yep.
a couple of guys, local high schoolers that were seniors that trained with us and
Yep.
ended up being very solid players. And
Yeah.
I think that
Yep,
definitely
Fernando
helped them.
Saldana. There was a
Yes.
number of
Absolutely.
young players that would come through and train. And, the sooner you can familiarize yourself with speed of play, the physicality,
Yes.
how technical things are at the next level, the better off you're going to be.
And just the mannerisms, I think, is also like something that's or not talked about enough. I think that they probably saw that as grown men, you can get in a little bit of an argument at practice. You can be straight up with each other, but then you shake it off at the end of practice and you leave it all on the field.
That's exactly right. Zaldivar, tireless worker.
That's a lazy ball. He's in.
Yeah, I wish Pilati would have broke a little bit sooner. Here is Pilati.
Oof. Good recovery from the defender.
Good read from Vargas, letting that go to Reed. As we're in the 45th minute. Reed happy to make Rettenmeyer go all the way. Looks like we're going to have 2 minutes of injury time. Pilati. Zaldivar. Harris. Back to Zaldivar. Back to Harris. Here's Weish. It's asking a lot from Ussery here, but he's gonna get on the end of it. Oh, it goes by him. Does well. Oh, it's just gone out for a goal kick. Folks, at halftime, we're going to let you be, but we do have a special halftime as two Tulsa Athletic legends retired. One of Scott's college teammates at Northeastern State, two-time All-American Joe Garcia, number 17 in your program, number 1 in your heart. And then maybe the biggest legend in club history, Levi Coleman, you know, the first legend for sure.
Absolutely.
Not only a legend on the field, but then, you know, he took the whistle after that, leading us to our first regional championship and first national championship game as finalists in 2021 and second regional title in 2022. Here's Eric Diaz with some space.
Ooh.
Oh, ball's fumbled. Here's
Oh.
Pilati.
Oh no. Ooh. Easiest goal Pilati's gonna get those defenders.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally walked the ball in.
Yeah.
Garrison Hill taking a little bit of exception there with the manner in which the ball was finished, which I understand. A little bit of chatter still between the two of them.
When you get a wet field.
Athletic fourth goal and second of the night. Scored by number 9, David Pilati.
Whenever.
Assisted by number 5, Eric Diaz.
Yeah, Diaz has been really industrious up that left side, and not just on the ball, but he's made a lot of runs that have opened up
Yes.
space.
And he's one of those guys defenders don't like because every time he gets it, you know he's going to be
Yeah,
running.
there's
at
no
you.
minutes, there's no time off with
Nope.
him. Like you
Nope.
know, you always have to get your hips right defensively. Like
Exactly.
you know,
he's very tricky and he's very direct.
exactly. If you dive in, he's going to go past you.
Yes.
I mean, you can. That's Q is a hockey guy, so he gets a little bit of a hockey assist there. But
Okay.
Scott, that's halftime. We're gonna adjourn right now and come back for the second half. Camera will be on, so some festivities. Thanks for the coming up first half. You're more than welcome to come back for the second half.
Okay, I
Get some
might.
refreshments.
All right.
Coming back to you for the second half here. We are sans referees right now. You bunch of lazy bums. No, I think they're just making their way back out from their locker room.
At the mercy of the referees.
Yeah, I think everyone's ready to roll.
Wrong order.
Scott, Joe Garcia, one of your college teammates, let us in on what it's like to be a teammate with Joe Garcia. You were with the teammate here and obviously at Northeastern State.
I don't want to talk too loud because I'll probably be hyping him up and feeding his ego.
He is right below us. It's a special night, though.
I can say a few nice words about Joe.
Just an unbelievable competitor, though. You know, my story is, you know, he got to the club and Brian McCurdy said, "Do you want this kid?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. That's your job. What do you think?" And he's like, "I don't know, but there's something special about him. Like he just has this little bit of a chip." And you know, they mentioned it like the first game he ever played, he came off the bench in the U.S. Open Cup against like Oklahoma City Energy U23s or whatever. Immediately got an assist. Game goes to overtime.
Declan,
yeah, and he like won some big tackles in the middle of the park. Just like asserted himself and never looked back. Always started for us. But you know, there are those players that people tell him like, you're not big enough, you're not fast enough, you're not strong enough, and you know he's heard all of those things.
Absolutely.
And it's ingrained in who he is as a competitor, and it's brought great things for him, for Northeastern State with you, for Tulsa Athletic.
Absolutely.
Tulsa 4.
Yeah, I'll say a couple words.
KC 0.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the one thing, because I was Joe's roommate in college for a couple years and obviously a teammate of his with the Athletics and with Northeastern State for, gosh, like three and a half years, man. We obviously were brothers by the end of it. And, man,
sure.
like you said, I will tell you, there is not a more competitive person. He walks around with a chip on his shoulder. Almost no matter what he does, he always has something to prove, and you saw that every single day in training. He showed up. He was ready to go. He never took a day off.
Right.
He was just constantly working hard, and I mean, I'll give him credit because I always try to tell players I used to coach, I would say, work on your weaknesses. But Joe obviously had weaknesses that he couldn't control. He was smaller. He's not going to rise up and you know, head a ball that's over the crossbar, right? You know, I mean. Exactly. But one thing that Joe did that was better than anybody else is that man competed. Yeah. It didn't matter if you were 6'6" and you had him by 150 pounds. He was going to put his whole body on the line for that ball. Every time. It did not matter. And that was one of my favorite parts about being Joe's teammate is that you knew what you were getting out of him every single game. Effort was never in question. Well,
we've won a lot here, and especially during his tenure at the club. It was like you would see him in the starting 11, and you're like, we're going to win tonight.
Yes.
Like we're going to win tonight. It's what he brought to the table, that mentality. And you know, we touched on like there are some things that he was not able to do. What he was able to do was exceptional. You know,
so
set piece,
elite,
an elite finisher popping up in spots.
Yes. Yeah, he definitely had that similar knack to what we talked about with KB in the first half. Of he just found the right spots in the ball.
Here is Garcia.
Right now.
Could it be? What a story it would have been. I might have just put the mic down.
Right.
What a story it would have been.
But he just has that knack of being in the right spots. And I even in our best years at Northeastern State, we had 2 years where we went to the Elite Eight and the Sweet 16, and we won our conference. And he was part of both of those years. He was our leading goal scorer. The year we went to the Elite Eight, I want to say he popped up with 13 goals, and that was his first national or All-American season. And then, man, we missed the guy. He was the leading goal scorer in the nation in Division II, and he broke his collarbone his senior year. We lost him for the rest of the year, and, man, we missed him in the postseason.
Yeah, huge presence. You know, he was this club hasn't had many captains. I think 4 or 5 captains, and he's absolutely one of them. In the inside of the armband are listed everyone who's ever captained the club. Also, just a nice little touch at halftime. Bryson Reed, who's currently captaining the club, took it off and gave it to Garcia.
Yeah.
So.
And I think And I think that's rightfully so. Me and Bryson were the same age coming into the athletics, and Joe was the captain whenever we were there. Joe and Jamie Gilbert were the co-captains, and
Yep.
great combination, I think. And I know Jamie poured a lot into Joe, and Joe really looked
Very
up
much
to
so.
Jamie.
Very much so.
And I think that's obviously showing with Joe's character on the field.
Here's Vargas. Finding Weish in the pocket. Boti. Vargas looking for Ussery. Here's Aldevar. He's got Torres. I think he is going to get on the end of this. I think he's going to get on the end of this again.
There it is. Yep.
Oh, denied twice. The chances have been there.
Oh, there's a balloon on the field. Well, it's not a balloon. Yeah, Joe's going to hear about that from me later.
Yeah, no.
But something tells me he's going to get on the end of one. We're 3 minutes in, and he's already gotten a couple chances.
Yeah, he's had 3 chances in 3 minutes.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Looks like KB's playing up top this half.
Yeah, Pilati made way for Harris. Harris certainly interchangeable. He can play 10 positions. So
he could probably play goalkeeper. He could probably play all 11.
Probably so.
Wouldn't be shocked.
Ussery over-committing a little bit there. Here's Weish. Looking for Ussery. Looked like he tried to wrap his foot around, just kind of sprayed it.
Yeah, it's a hard technique to get that ball going forward, but also bend it back at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. It's like you want to wrap your foot around it, but you still need to have the velocity and the whip to
and the direction
for the ball to travel 40
going
yards.
in behind the back line. It's those little details that whenever you see the guys in the top level doing that, if you've played long enough, you appreciate it. You appreciate that just a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's Reed looking to go 9-9 for Harris here. Vargas has been good tonight. Hasn't put a foot wrong as per usual.
Yep. I think that's one of the biggest compliments that you can give to a defender is that you didn't really notice him that game. That you didn't really notice him, and he's just making all the right decisions, and he's just being composed.
Right.
Well,
And what he does do, he makes it look very simple.
Exactly.
You know, you get out there and you do it, it's like, oh, that little read that he made, you know, that little toe, that little break in that line on the dribble.
Yes, a very composed defender. Very composed. He's come a long way. He used to have a very fiery side, and now he's very composed, and you can tell he's really matured as a player.
Vargas away, looking for Diaz here. Diaz does well to turn him.
That's a foul.
Yep. Cynical. I think it's one of those when you're down 4-0, the referee probably stays out of the book. Just kind of leaves it.
It's like you said, he's just managing the game. As long as he doesn't get chippy, I think the ref's gonna walk away fine. One thing Gustavo's very good at, he's very good at drawing the forwards in and then facilitating the ball.
Yeah,
That's one thing I remember as a teammate of his that.
No, he makes you make decisions, and when you make a decision, he bases what he does off of the decision that you make, which is, you know.
It seems simple whenever you're saying it, but to actually go out and do it.
Here's Diaz, great run.
It's a couple fouls on the same, offside.
I'm not sure. I wouldn't have thought Diaz would have been offside there because he received the ball pretty early and was running at him. Maybe
didn't look it from our angle, but sideline ref had a better view.
Union Casey did switch goalkeepers at halftime. Charlie Dusky made way for who we only know as Daniel. Just a 0-0 called Daniel. Cut out by Ussery. Zaldivar. Zaldivar's been good in the middle of the park, usually a winger. Botti looking for Dunkel. A little knockdown header there. I used to play against a goalkeeper named Otto Orff.
Otto Orff.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Yankees. Unbelievable arm, Cleveland Crunch, absolute legend. But he wore 00, and they say, "Why do you wear 00?" And he goes, "No, that's my initials."
That's funny. That's funny. Oof.
Chance to break here for Tulsa. Ball finds Weish for his college teammate and club teammate, Ussery. This will be Joe Garcia. Torres trying to pick out Garcia. Well-weighted pass.
Yeah.
Garrison Hill does really well to slide over and intercept. Be a corner for Tulsa.
So one of the marks I'm looking for from the Athletics tonight is really how they approach the second half. Obviously, a 4-0 lead, it's easy to get complacent. But I think the mark of a good team is they can always make those new goals, whether it be keep a clean sheet or get to 7, something to keep the boys on their toes and working towards something.
Yeah, I mean, you want to stay hungry, and
Exactly.
you know they have incentive too. Like you don't want to be brutal. Vargas up. We've seen goals like that before.
Yeah.
When Vargas rises. But at the end of the day, Scott, like the playoffs are very uncertain right now, and goal difference could be a factor in that. So you don't want to be just absolutely brutal and cruel. But if it's when the lines are thin,
You got to do what you got to do.
if you pour on 6 or 7, like.
It can be the difference maker.
Good
later
ball
in
from-
the year.
What a hit. Hagen Weish. Technique. One of the finest technical players we have in the
That was
club.
pure.
You see him spray a ball like that all the time along the floor, and
Just-
sometimes it just takes a
just puts it in the
well-placed
corner.
ball.
Yeah.
Cash Dunkel with the assist too, the youngster, the high school senior. Hagen Weish is first for the club. Beautiful strike. Beautiful
That was.
strike.
That was. Bit of left to right movement. I love
Yeah.
it.
Tulsa's
Yep.
5th goal of the night, number 11, Hagen Weish. With the assist by number 3, Cash Dunkel.
Yeah, I brought up his name for a second earlier in the commentary, but one of the guys who I thought was the best that I ever had as a captain was Jamie Gilbert. He had a way of just making you relentlessly work hard, and I think one of the things he did best was do it by example. He was the first to practice, last to leave.
Yeah.
And even at his age, he was significantly older than all the young boys at that time, and I think he really just set
he
the tone
builds
for us.
culture,
Yes.
Scott. Like, and you said it very, very astutely there. Like, it's through. There's a heavy touch from Zaldivar. It's through example. Lead by example.
Yeah, and I think that's especially.
He's not going to hit that. I would have loved the effort.
Might have been a Ballon d'Or. A Ballon d'Or
Shot.
Puskas.
A little bit of a. Reed does just enough to
But-
see off Vincent Croney from distance. Yeah, Gilbert was a great leader. I mean, was that Crossley? No, I'm sorry, that's Yaos from distance.
But yeah, I think especially with boys in their early 20s, you know how it is as a player. You want to see the guy that's telling you what to do. You want to see him
Yeah,
be able to do it.
yeah.
And Jamie very much backed up everything that he said, everything that he did. So
Yeah, I mean, like you said, first to leave or first to training, last to leave. I
Yeah.
mean that if you want to go out and get that, if you want to be a professional, like introducing yourself to what that commitment looks like is
a different level. It's a different
very
level
helpful.
of commitment.
Here's Dunkel. I think it's going to go out for a goal kick. Might have got a little touch. He did. He did. Touched it off the defender.
So Dunkel is a high school senior?
Yeah, high school senior. I don't have any information on where he's going to end up next year for college. Check Q's sheet here. No, just
Well, if he hasn't committed anywhere, college coaches, this kid has game.
yeah, good player. He's had a good night tonight. Has an assist.
Industrious, outside back. I don't know if that's his main position. A lot of times you see that happen whenever players are getting placed in. If they're a winger, maybe they start their career at outside back, but sometimes that's the best change a player can make.
Torres to serve. Ball comes across.
Oh. There's 5'3" Joe Garcia putting himself about just
Oh,
how
he's
we
found the
said.
stat sheet. He's found the
Yeah,
stat sheet. Getting
yeah.
sent off on the night you were inducted would be another story.
You know, I
But-
wouldn't put it past the kid. All it takes is one of those guys making a little short joke, and
Exactly.
he's a fiery guy. But
Yellow
you
card
wouldn't have him
number
any
6,
other way.
Joe Garcia.
In his 14th minute of action for the on his return.
Came out of retirement. First thing he does is get a yellow card.
He's got 3 shots on target.
That is
Good
true.
press there. Or so 2.
Yeah, 2. Keeper did make a couple good saves.
He did.
on-
Point blank. Point blank.
Those were some very good saves.
I didn't hate where Joe put him, too. Kind of
No.
hit it downwards on a taller
Exactly.
goalkeeper.
Exactly.
Save that. And Daniel was up to the task.
Daniel.
Last nameless Daniel. I apologize to Daniel's family. If we had the last name, we'd certainly be shouting it out. He's made a couple good saves this half. Good paw here from
beautiful.
Reed on an absolute dime. Torres does well to keep it in. He's got, this is a wide open Harris. He's just missed that. And you know, that's one of the difficult things about 5-0 games is it's like that's an important ball. Like you may work 75 minutes for the opportunity to play that ball. So you'd really like to
Exactly.
see Torres switched on here.
In a 0-0 game, that ball
Yeah,
might be the
exactly.
only
Can you
chance
continue to
get.
play a 0-0 game even though the score line is off and running?
Yep. It's a mental battle sometimes.
Yep.
And that was one thing as a defender I always told myself was if I have a clean sheet, I'm going to keep it. You know, and that was something that helped me keep locked in games like this whenever it was 5-0.
Scott, looks like we're going to see Renardo Berger come on. It looks like it's going to be for Eric Diaz. Diaz, a really good night tonight. Drew a
That was.
penalty. Just continual menace in the box all night
Coming
long.
onto the field for the Tulsa Athletic, number 22, Ronaldo Berger. Coming off the field for number 5, Eric Diaz.
Renardo Berger's had a little bit of a back injury that he's
Okay.
getting over, so this will be good for him to get some minutes. And
Yeah. Yeah, a good game to get your toes wet again.
yep.
Yeah, but like you said, Diaz with a good night, the assist to KB in the first half, and obviously drew the penalty.
Yeah.
So I think, like I said, any guy like that, he's always got a spot in the team. He's always got a spot because he's industrious, he's hard worker on defense, and he's direct on offense. He'll create problems anywhere he goes.
Reed is just spraying it now. I just don't know the mid-air call there. I mean, he's right there, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but tough one.
Yeah. That's not a foul. Well, I don't know. That center back was reaching.
Yeah, Garrison will bring it out of the back a little slow there.
Yeah.
Harris, never a dirty player. I've never seen anything malicious from him ever. Not saying that wasn't a foul either. I mean, he might have just mistimed it a little bit, but
Yeah, that's one thing I think he's off. But
he is. But I like to see it. I think too often you see people cut their run there,
Yeah.
and it's for me. I always like the habit of run offside. That way they can start to learn your timing cutting through there.
Exactly.
Because it's that time when you stop, that's the one where they play it, and
Yeah.
it's like, well,
And there's no chance you get to it.
no, yeah, you've completely stopped running. So Vargas, this could be interesting. Nope, well done, well won by Hill. Here's Berger's first touch. Yeah, that looked like Jack Lucas maybe in a little bit late there.
Yeah, Ruben Carrasco has these boys playing a good brand of soccer, though. It's good to see. I was a teammate with Ruben for one season at the Athletics, and yeah, I mean, just seeing that guy grow as a coach from a player at Rogers State. I competed against him, and
Yep.
now I'm seeing him coach this team.
There's Joe Garcia combining, doing what he does. Dunkel does well to get his body right there.
Young guy putting himself about. I love it.
Yep. Boti too deep there.
Yeah, and I think that's. I'll wait to
A
speak.
little bit of sweep in there. Ussery a must-win challenge and gets it right. Like to see Berger compete a little bit more there. Here's Zaldivar coming out of the back. This should be Berger. Berger's in here.
He's on. That's onside. Swear it. What a save.
Harris follows it up. Hat trick, first hat trick of the season.
KB Harris.
You know, again, you don't want to just be picking at things at this point, but I really would have liked to have seen Berger there, have that killer instinct, be
Tulsa
brilliantly timed run.
Yeah.
Like,
a hat trick.
I mean,
for number 17,
that's on if the goalkeeper's totally committed to you and you're flying in and you just leave it in there for an open net tap in. But
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, the goalkeeper slid across, made a save.
Yeah.
If you're Berger, bust in and goal, get your hips right, open them up, far
Exactly.
post, tuck it away. That run earned the chance.
Exactly.
Take
And
your
that can
chance.
do a lot for the rest of his season. How do you square that one
Absolutely.
away?
What an opportunity to get your confidence off and going. You've been on the field 5
Exactly.
minutes and you grabbed a goal because of a well-timed run.
Exactly.
I didn't catch who put the ball in over the top. I think it was maybe Zaldivar.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the right call.
Reed with a touch. And I believe they've kicked the spare ball over the fence.
Yeah, that has been, I would say, one critique I have for Kansas City is that their final product just hasn't quite been there tonight. And it's a long road trip, and you know, like you said, it rained a lot tonight. But that is one thing I would say about the forwards is that they just haven't quite been on their game. I can tell they have some technical players and some very physical players, and I just don't know if we've seen the best from them tonight. It sounds like they've pushed for some results, but just hasn't been there tonight.
I'm just struggling because Rettenmeyer kicked my ball stand over there.
Oh,
My
no.
pride and joy.
Ooh.
Here's
Okay.
Berger again.
Play it,
Jailbreak.
play it, play it. Oh, no. Yeah, just a bit more composure from our front line.
Yeah, and you
now.
hear from Carrasco right now, you know, wanting to get the shape right. Like, the game obviously is going to open up second half.
Yes.
You know, it's a lopsided match, so people are going to be taking liberties and, you know, making runs they might not otherwise make. But at the same time, you want to see keep your shape.
Yeah, and I think something that does drive that a lot is competition. I think whenever you have a good deep bench, if you're not doing your job,
Yeah,
next guy's up.
that's right.
Next
No,
guy's
that's
up.
right.
And that's something that my playing days with the Athletics, that was something was our biggest advantage was we had 7 guys on the bench that
Yeah.
most of the time could start at almost any team in the
Yeah,
conference.
you'd bring off Billy Enzo Jabwami. You'd bring on Junior Kazim, Aaron Ugba. You know, I mean,
Oh,
you'd bring on guys that like
Yep.
start for maybe any other team in the league.
Exactly. And, man, we never took seconds off just because we knew if we did, we weren't going to start the next game.
That's it, and that's the type of culture that you want to create.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
never feel safe, never feel complacent.
Yeah, and a lot of times with competition, we've talked about culture. A lot of times with competition, man, the culture can get ugly, but that's credit I give to Brian McCurdy, Coach Brian McCurdy. His man management was some of the best I had ever had as a coach. And he made sure we were always a team. Made sure we
Yeah.
were always a team and really kept a lot of the players happy, gave a lot of rotation, a lot of minutes to a lot of guys. You worked hard in practice. You knew you were going to earn the minutes in the weekend, you know.
Yeah, you know, real early on too, Scott. Like he, I used to go after high level Division I players. I have some connections,
Yeah,
you know, bring him in.
absolutely.
And, you know, he would sometimes say, like, listen, I got an NAI kid. It's like, he gets along well with everyone. Everyone's fighting for the guy. And he really kind of sold me on, like, build a good culture of players, one, who can stay with you for the entire summer and don't go
Yeah.
back on July 1st.
Right.
But, yeah, that was imperative. Here's a good little spell. Jack Lucas on the ball. Ussery. No nonsense. Garrison Hill on the ball.
Yeah, I want to say that the 2018 year that we ended up playing Miami FC in the regional finals, that was probably the best team culture I've ever had in any level, and it was probably the deepest team I was ever on.
Some good teams. Some
Yeah,
good teams.
I mean, we probably had. I mean, our 11v11 games in practice were more competitive than.
And that's, I think, what you try and build, right?
Yeah.
You try and build that. If you're winning in practice on Wednesday, you're definitely winning on
Yeah,
Saturday. So
exactly.
knockdown.
Yeah, and a lot of those boys weren't, those big D1 schools. I think something that Joe said was the 2017 team was probably a bit more talented, and Joe was on both teams, but he said the team atmosphere, it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what you just said. The guys are going to be there the whole summer. They're committed to the process. They're committed to the team, and that's what creates that good culture.
Reed picking out Weish. Weish has had a really good game on the ball. Got his goal as well.
Commentary curse again.
Yep, there it is.
Never fails.
That's a good ball.
No, it's a goal kick. Gustavo Vargas, composed as ever.
Working it to the edge of the rule there. The edge of the edge of the box and the edge of the rule.
Yeah, something I always gave Gustavo credit for was he's very good at getting away with things. He's very, very good at he hits that gray area. Soccer has some black and white rules, and he'll push the rules, but he'll never actually commit the foul, or he'll never actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's the dark arts, right?
Dark arts, yeah,
So-
master of the dark arts.
Yeah.
And he is very much a master of the dark arts, and it was hilarious to see. I played a lot of outside back for the Athletics, and looking across the box and just seeing him get his arm across a player, something just small like
Just put
that.
him off their run. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly, just something small that he's very, very good at. He's always thinking a step ahead.
Hats off to Kansas City, still committing players forward here. See the big man Garrison Hill in the box, looking to grab a goal. There is Hill. It's a shot. Bryson Reed, this could be a shot on goal. I will say Reed has about 11 shots on goal this year. He's an incredibly good distributor of the ball, but that 9-9 all the way ball has been like a little bit overcooked this year. There was one game with Oklahoma City where he had, I think he had about 4 or 5 shots on goal, if you can call them shots. But
I believe it. I mean, we had a set play where we would only put 3 or 4 defenders in the box on our defensive corner kicks, and Bryson would come out.
Scott, looks like we're going to see some subs. It looks like we're going to see Braxton. I always forget Braxton's last name. Braxton Decker is going to come on for Ruben Torres. And then I think we're going to see KB, the hat trick. Is it 3 or 4 tonight?
Coming onto
Three.
the field for
Three.
the Tulsa
Three.
Athletic,
Yeah,
number
3,
7,
because Hagen
Jonathan
Weish.
Morgan.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
And
Jonathan.
number 8, Braxton Decker.
So we got Decker and Morgan on for Harris
And I believe Ruben Torres was the
and
other one.
Torres, correct. Decker, another high school senior.
Yeah, this is a good game to get those young boys some
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah. Get yourself a 20-minute spell.
Yeah. these boys work hard for it. I'm sure that they're really looking forward to this, and they're going to remember these little moments.
Decker's first touch, not the one he would have wanted.
Probably a little bit of nerves.
Weish finds Zaldivar. Looked like Zaldivar trying to go outside of the foot there and flip it for Berger.
Open on the back post.
I
What was
couldn't
the
tell.
call?
Maybe offside?
No, the official doesn't have his. Maybe is it a throw-in? Okay.
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Well, we can't see over there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well held there from Garcia. Oh, trying to find Morgan. There's a version of Garcia there where the boot is soft and so is the pass to match, but
Yup.
well done there from Decker. That's a bad challenge there. Just left his boot in.
Yeah, it looks like he's got the tip of the stud.
Yeah, Weish has been very, very good tonight.
Yeah. You can tell he's a very technical, composed player.
Very. I mean, the goal he took was a prime example of just how
Absolutely.
technique can.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure. I believe someone from the bench said it might be his penis. We don't want to see that tonight.
Oh, and, you know, that would make sense as to why Net's not really helping him too much. There's only so much you can do for the poor guy.
We'll know from the walk.
Nope.
No, it's a
not
leg
that.
injury.
It is a leg.
Yeah, nasty challenge. No real need for it. I mean, other than frustration, we've all been there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hope the kid's okay. Never want to see an injury happen in a game like this.
No, very good player too. Is a very good player.
For sure.
Got a score update from the other game tonight. Apparently, FC Wichita, I'm being told, won 2-0 over Oklahoma City, which would mean this would see Tulsa go back on top of the table. But would also mean that they have not clinched the playoffs either, because they host FC Wichita,
Okay.
who is 2 points adrift, and Oklahoma City 1 point adrift will now head away to Kansas City on Wednesday. Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't recall exactly when their match is, but
Yeah, but that's what, as a player, you got to enjoy those moments. You can't have everything easy, you know. When it gets late in the season like that, you really see who the guys with the good mentalities are, the ones that aren't afraid of the moment.
text coming in from former athletic coach and phenom Ray Sari. also a Kansas City product.
He
Played for the
is.
famed Billy Goat FC there.
Yeah, Ray's a good friend of mine. Ray's a good friend of mine. We were roommates for a little bit as well. Very good player. You want to talk about a fiery player? We said Joe was fiery, but Ray was another level. I remember the first time I met him, it was indoor soccer and off season for college, and he cussed me out for not passing him the ball, and I didn't know who he was. I didn't know who he was.
That story
at the time.
tracks on all levels.
Yep. I don't think there's anybody that's doubting that story.
Scott, we've seen, I think, a change we missed. I think Lucas Young has made his way into the match.
Yeah, I think he got subbed on.
And I think we're going to see Hugh Pham here as well coming on for Aiden Nursery. Great game from Nursery tonight. Getting forward on the left. We discussed earlier. I think he had the assist.
Yeah, the whole team is
Coming onto the field
as a
for
whole
the
has
Tulsa
been putting in a
Athletic,
good
number 20,
shift.
Hugh Pham. Coming off the field, number 2, Aiden Nursery.
Here's Pham's first touch, finding Zaldivar. Zaldivar to Ebenezer Botti. Have Reed on the ball. Young's first touch lets him down.
That's a foul.
Yep. Oh, he's going to reach into the pocket as well.
Ooh, I don't know if that was yellow, but
Yeah, it looked like he was cutting away from goal, but
the ref's been consistent tonight. Nothing negative to say about the guy. He's managed the game well.
I have a headset on. What are you?
Well defended by the Athletics.
I think striker David Pilati wanting to claim a little bit of credit for some positioning work. At least that's what he was shouting up to the booth up here. The boys are having fun. They're going to need to lock back in for Wednesday, obviously, but the boys are having fun.
Yeah, it's important to have a little bit of balance, but you've always got to have a sense of professionalism.
It's a good ball.
Here we go. Bryson about to put another shot on target. Nope.
Berger, a little bit of a lazy ball. Good touch from Zaldivar. He's got that little quick change of pace. That's a great ball.
I thought he was off, but I guess not. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, I thought Joe just snuck offside.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Hesitated just a little bit.
Yeah, the fans
aren't going to.
They're not worried about any children around them when it comes to language right now. They want to see Joe Garcia score a goal.
Those guys were my favorites, man. They had your back through thick and thin.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't matter how bad you felt the guy. They were going to yell at the referee.
Yeah, oh, exactly. They care not to educate themselves on the ways of soccer. They only support.
Yep. Through thick and thin.
Still got to tip your cap to Union Kansas City, Scott. Still out there working hard, grafting.
Absolutely. Like I said, I think they definitely have some talent that I can tell, and they have some organization, but I just don't think we just saw their full A game.
It's a good ball here from Young, trying to find Garcia. Excellent stuff here. Morgan's he's rapid as well. His brother Ben. They are the rare Jamaican Norwegians.
That is, I've never heard of that combination yet, but that is pretty cool.
Here's Berger. That one may have snow on it.
Bad field conditions. We'll blame it on the field. Yeah, one thing I have noticed is the game has died a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
I think putting Joe Garcia up top in theory makes a lot of sense. You know, you put your leading goal scorer up top, but I think one thing that Joe thrives in is whenever you give him a guy to run off of. Whenever you give him a guy to just disguise himself behind, you know, that's one thing Joe is incredible at. I think whenever you put him up against those guys look like they're probably 6'3", 6'4" center backs. And the game turns a little physical. It can be a little bit difficult for him, but man, you give that guy a guy to run off of, and
well cut up by
he'll
Pham.
score.
If Morgan can make a run here on the right, he's on. Here's Berger cooking along. Earns a corner. This result will see Tulsa Athletics sit on top of the table on 16 points, with FC Wichita in third with 14. Here's Vargas back across the box. It's Lucas Young.
Had to. His eyes lit up, you could tell.
Yeah, I mean,
6-0.
you got to swing it. You got to swing the boot there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Oklahoma City will be in second on 15, with FC Wichita on 14. So you got 16, 15, 14 headed into the last game of the season, all to play for everywhere.
How many teams qualify for the postseason?
Top two.
Top two, yeah. Everything to play for.
Yep, everything to play for. That's the very definition of offside there.
He knew it. Yeah, but that's what you want in the late postseason. You want it to be a race. You want it to come down to the last whistle.
Good little ball here from Dunkel, finding Morgan. Morgan, good attitude though, tracking back. Jack Lucas going on a walkabout. Corner one. Kansas City on the corner here, going near post. Good header away from Braxton Decker.
I like that challenge.
Little scissory for my liking, but
True. I'll give you that. But he's playing hard.
at this point in the game, he is.
Athletic fans,
I mean,
don't forget Wednesday, July 2nd against FC Wichita at 7:30 p.m. Tulsa's next home game.
Union KC's been sort of working this near post corner. It's a good corner. Just over.
Yeah, it looks like we have a little over 5 minutes left plus stoppage time. So, yeah, I think they just need to stay switched on for the last few minutes. Obviously, 90 minutes is a long time, but whenever you're this close to the finish line with a shutout, I know that's important to guys like Bryson.
Yeah, Bryson, Botti, Gustavo Vargas. These are guys that are gonna want their 90 minutes to reflect the big goose egg on the scoreboard.
Exactly.
Here's Cash Dunkel with space. He's found Morgan. Morgan's got room to drive. What a goal from Jonathan Morgan. Soccer can be a simple game sometimes. Pace, gets in the box.
Exactly.
Tests the keeper near post. Finds himself a goal. Jonathan Morgan, I believe, is that Cash Dunkel's second little assist? I think he clipped the little ball through for him from right back there.
Yeah. Definitely was his assist.
Seventh goal of the night, scored by number 7, Jonathan Morgan. Assisted by number 3, Cash Dunkel.
Yeah, like I said, Cash has been impressive tonight. Obviously, being a senior in high school, his physicality has impressed me the most. I'd say he's kept up well. This is a big sporting, not Sporting Kansas City, Union Kansas City. This is a big Union Kansas City team, and
Yep.
he's hung with them. He's hung with them.
Yeah, I like the weight of the pass. You know, it's easy to. It's Morgan.
Yeah, it's easy to overplay it, like you said, though, and he showed a little bit of composure there.
Lucas still battling. Hats off to the youngster. Reed has options here if he wants to still keep going.
He does.
He always does.
He wants to get on the.
He's going for Berger here. He's got Hugh Pham as well. It's a really good ball into the space here. It's found Pham. It's found Berger. Lucas Young a little late to Rafa Zaldivar. Great hit. Ooh, just parried away by Daniel. Big D with the save. Unnecessary touch.
Well done by Rafa.
Yeah, all 90 minutes from Zaldivar. When you talk about leading by example, it's a good whip, too. Well dealt with.
Ooh. Wow.
Great skill there from Jack Lucas.
Yeah, I
Like him a little tighter for me, but oh, that's really well defended. And that's just a card. Yeah, disappointing there. I mean, Lucas has let his frustrations go in just a kick through of Cash Dunkel, which I understand it. I've been there. God knows I've done it more times than I am proud of. But anytime you just senselessly whack a guy, it's like.
Yeah, from the medium point of view, obviously it doesn't look good, but we've all been in that guy's shoes.
Yep.
We've all been.
Yep.
Yeah,
Scott,
nice
that's
off
going to
the
do
shot.
it. There's not going to be much of a long sign-off here for my guest commentator, Scott Adams. Lovely seeing you. Lovely catching up. I'm Sonny D'Alessandro. The A's walk away tonight. Important match against Union Kansas City. 7-0 winners.
Thank you for coming
That's
out
going to
to
wrap it
that
up.
Thanks for having me, Sonny.
Always, buddy.
KC Union's